Quote Blizzard's blog post.
Why bother when we already have a BattleNet balance? It's important to note that when dealing in transactions involving real money, a more deliberate and cautious process needs to be implemented to provide appropriate financial protections for both parties. This can be an inefficient, inconvenient, and often tedious process when a player wants to purchase multiple items.
Translation, we don't want credit card companies to prevent you from giving us money you don't have and can't afford. Companies are in the business of protecting their ability to continue receiving income no matter the reason. Now it's time for your hosts, Rob Roberts, Jamie Summers, and Loki, to tell you more about this story and the rest of the week's gaming news. Starting right now on the show, where every gamer has a voice.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet. Welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio, live coming at you once again tonight, November the 9th, 2025, episode number 1068 of our program. Over the last 23 and a half years, we've been joining you here every week to talk about video games, gaming culture, the gamer lifestyle, and sometimes food. My name is Rob Roberts, and I'm joined by my partners in internet crime. Say hello to Dark Sakura or Jamie Summers.
Hi.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm a thing.
A thing. I'm
a thing. I'm a way. I'm a certain way.
I like the way your VTubers dressed tonight.
Oh, thank you. I was playing around with some of my Dead by Daylight textures that I have.
Gotcha. How are we feeling about 2v8's return? I guess I don't want to get too much into your gaming week, but...
I'll talk about it in my gaming week.
All right, fair enough. Let's go and say hello to Techmaster Loki.
Hey.
Hi, Loki. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Good. No, this is a scene within a scene tonight. We have you, as we do tape live every Sunday night at the Voice Geeks Network, twitch.tv/VOG Network, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, right after the Bobby Blackwolf show. You usually have a game that plays behind you, but today it's somebody else playing a game. Is this one of your...
Yeah, I didn't have... No.
Is this one of your comrades?
That's Captain Sparkles.
Oh, okay.
No, it's Captain Sparkles. He's a big YouTube... No, this is... The game I just wanted to show in the back there it's a thing running in Minecraft, so it's called Soul Steel. It's it's like Sands of Time. It's made by the Nox Crew folks who do MCC and stuff. So they spun off. This is like a Bedrock server that you can play. That they have like a whole game that's like kind of a dungeon crawling type thing.
I guess I always forget that there are the ability to do games within a game or whatever in Minecraft, which is silly of me to forget because I've played them. Like I know they had like a special limited edition Sonic thing I remember playing for a hot minute, and I'm sure there's all sorts of community built ones, probably just like ZZT or Fortnite. There's just a million of them out there. You have the time to sample them. So
yeah. So I got the other day they sent me. I had like 10 keys to it or something I don't know what those are supposed to be for. Something to unlock stuff, I guess. And then also I get a creator tag because I've been in MCC, so that'll be fun.
All right. Good times. So we'll get into our gaming weeks here in just a moment, but as usual, we'll start off at the top of the show here with our kickoff topic. So Loki, lots of drama going around. This is a game you're anticipating very much, and
I'm not anticipating it this much at this point because, like, who knows when it's going to come out? And it's been like that for years now.
Brace yourself for mediocrity.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be mediocre.
It'll be a good game. It will.
I don't trust any sort of date announcement for this game until it's actually out because it's moved so many times now that it doesn't matter. So. Yes, that's what happened. Rockstar Games let everybody know after the last time where they said, it's not moving again, that, yes, the date has moved again, and now has been pushed out even further now, about a whole year away, for Grand Theft Auto 6. Because they need extra months to polish and finish the game to the level that we expected. So it's going to be damn perfect when it comes out. Hopefully.
Polish off all of those monetization systems that they're going to build into a multiplayer universe.
I don't think they need to really even worry about that because they've nailed that down. But I think it's going to be pretty amazing whenever it comes out, at some point. And And then alongside,
actually, just real quick,
though,
if I can get some comments from chat, SSG 100 Matt says they're pushing it back more and more to a future where 90 games are a commonplace. You know, you say that, but I did think about a little bit of interesting irony. I think none of this relates to each other. It's just interesting irony. But, you know, we've gone on our little soapbox rants about how the tariffs going on in this country are affecting the video game industry, right? And we are hopefully aware, if we follow the news at all, that the Supreme Court did hear the case against 47's tariffs this week. And it seemed like, and this is weird for the reporters to be reporting on, the vibe in the room was that they're probably going to turn the tariffs down. Although we don't know until it's done. And I certainly wouldn't hold my breath or get my hopes up, but it is interesting, and a decision like that would have to be made before the end of June, I believe. So all this to say is that in May, it's potential that a PlayStation 5 could be more expensive than it would be in November. It is possible that the price of a PlayStation 5 comes down by the end of November. So to be, I don't know, it's an interesting sort of side effect, especially for people that maybe have been holding out on a PlayStation 5 this entire time until a new Grand Theft Auto game comes out, which I'm sure is more than non-zero. It's a fair amount of people.
I don't honestly see them. Like, here's my thought here. I don't really think that they're going to raise the price of that game. I know that they spent a lot of time on it, but here's why. Because they're going to be whoring that microtransaction stuff in the back end. So to put an extra $10 wall there between the consumer and somebody that's able to purchase those microtransactions, it doesn't make sense because, one, they're going to get that negative stigma. They're like, oh, look, now it's going up to $90. I'll wait.
Well, it's going to be 70. It's going to be 70. Like, that's a given.
Oh, yeah. It'll probably be 80. It'll be 80 for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The precedent's being set now.
Can't even remember how much games are anymore. Yeah, 80.
Thanks, Nintendo, for that. Appreciate it. You're so kind. But I don't think that they're going to be the ones that push it more. Like, certainly they could probably try to do that, but I think it's a safer bet to just not do that, lose out. You're not really losing out, but like lose out on that $10 up front, but make it up way higher.
They're going to make oodles on the monetization. They know it. We know it. They're not going to lose by charging the standard, whatever Ubisoft is charging for their quadruple A games. GTA can charge it too. Some comments in chat about the delay. SSG 100 Matt says, a wise man once said, nobody will remember if you fart in public. Everyone remembers when you shit your pants. I think that's exactly how Miyamoto phrased it, actually, looking back.
Exactly.
Nobody will remember the delays if the game is good. And Bobby points out, nobody remembers or cares how many times GTA 5 was delayed. And at the end of the day, there's no complaint. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about the delay. Take the time to get it right. Make sure it's bug free. I'm sure the game is vast and there's going to be, lots of things they have to look at. But it does lead to the, what's that pricing? What's that economic? What's that all going to, that's more money now that they're fronting for the game. But I do think, they've made what, $1 billion off of Grand Theft Auto 5 Online?
Oh, I think they make $1 billion every year at least on that.
They'll make
it's an enormous amount of money.
They're gonna make their dev money back and then some. So don't cry for Rockstar. But that doesn't stop them from acting a certain kind of way, does it, Loki?
So there's a few. It's a kind of a he said, she said type thing, or in the sense that you have a corporation saying, "Hey, we fired these 30 some employees because of gross misconduct. They were essentially sharing leaks. They're sharing leaks of the game, apparently. It says we took action against a small number of individuals who were found distributing and discussing confidential information in a public forum, a violation of our company policies. And certainly not because these people were trying to, unionize. Certainly wouldn't be because of that. Because according to the folks that are getting fired, they said that is the reason.
So hypothetically, that public forum that you speak of is Discord. which actually I don't think is a hypothetical at all. I believe it was called out. It was Discord.
I haven't even seen any leaks yet of the game since the last time it was leaked. So like,
because it's not the game, Loki. Here's what it is. If Discord is the public forum, although we all know Discords can be invite only, I'm sure we all have one or two Discords that are private or whatever for a specific group of friends that's invite only, and it's not public. But in the eyes of the company and the ways their policies are, they say if you take our data or you take our information and you put it here somewhere in the cloud, then that's putting information on a public forum. That's the way that they view it. And what if that information, Loki, if we talk about this union and stuff, has nothing to do with the game at all? It is what the working conditions are like for them to make this game, or potentially maybe it's hubbub about the game getting delayed, or the game is going to be delayed, and maybe some of the specifics on a very business scale as to why, but not necessarily, graphic, story, plot, play, but it's none of that. It's hypothetically all the shit behind the scenes that lead to, in some type of maybe union growing Discord thing, because that's the place where a lot of people collaborate. If it was 20 years ago, it would have been Slack. It's the same. Actually, a lot of companies I know are still on Slack, but off the clock, not as many people on that. So I think when we talk about leaks, I don't think we're talking about character art and level design. I think we're talking about the project plan for release and how many hours that's causing us to work. I think it's that. It's things that gaming blogs don't care about. That's what it is.
Yeah, they were they were in the Discord with the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain, is the Discord apparently.
Yeah. So then that's it. So they're talking about union related things, and so I can see where people are jumping in and saying this is a form of union busting. It gets weird though, because, there's that perspective of technically a private Discord server still lives on a public cloud. And, I'm not taking Rockstar's side here, but that's where on paper they're able to do it. But that doesn't make it right. Just because you can do it doesn't make it right. So, yeah.
Especially when you're making the money that you're making off of these games. Like, I don't know. It's
well, and the optics are pretty shitty too, right? We're going to fire all these people, number one, because they're trying to form a union. Number two, right before the game is set to release and we're in that final polish. I know it's weird to say that about a game that's a year out, but they have a long polish and phase. So it almost makes it seem like, thanks for your long contributions to this game. You're no longer needed. And now we have this reason to sack you.
Here's what they'll do. All they'll do is they'll just wait until the Game Awards, which is literally in a month or so. And then they'll just drop another trailer and they'll be like, oh,
and nobody will talk about this.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. You would, it's interesting you bring up the Game Awards, because I feel like there was a lot of pressure last year for Jeff to kind of comment on the industry. And I wonder, and I guess this is a silly thing to say, but, I wonder if maybe there will be something said this year, but I also think we already know the answer.
He sort of mentioned something like, was that Summer Games Fest? It was like barely, like basically saying like, hey, look at what these indie studios are doing. Look at all this amazing stuff.
Yeah, I was more trying to hype the positive. Well, because that's what it is. You don't want to get up there on a night that you're trying to celebrate video games and say, wow, this industry is kind of going down the shitter. Instead of taking the negative side, you're taking the positive side by uplifting and saying, these indie games are great. And and by the way, this is why Claire Obscure is going to sweep. I think it's not just the fact that game is rock solid, but I think a lot of the ways that game was made, even though, yes, I realize there were, certain outsourced teams involved and so forth. That's a lot of games that you hear about now. At least it wasn't AI that are made. So
it's kind of sad we have to say that.
Wait till a later story. Just file that on a little index card in the back of your head, because we're going to pull that later in the show. Anyway, let's see. Over at our Twitch chat, over at twitch.tv/VOG network. So Bobby is pointing out some of the behind the scenes stuff about the union. They were just about able to get to 10% membership to be able to collective bargain. They are now not close to the 10% membership anymore, and others are scared to join to get to that 10%. That all plays into that optics that really, like, it makes this whole you leaked confidential information a real stretch. I wonder if it, again, this is UK law. For what it sounds like, not U.S. law. So I'm not going to, I barely know shit when it comes to U.S. law. I'm not going to profess to know what's going on in the U.K. I just wonder if anyone takes this to a legal place to see what ends up, if it is arbitrated or whatever, whether Discord, a private Discord is indeed a public forum. That would be an interesting, because that's the whole technicality this whole thing is resting on. It'd be interesting. SJ100 Matt says firing team leaders and managers throws everything out of whack as well. Nobody knows who they're reporting to, and going to delay stuff. Just ask the federal government. I added that last part. Let's see. Def says it's going to be hilarious to hear Jeff talk about the industry and how the workforce makes it happen, and then give GTA a platform. So that's why I preface what I said with this is probably a stupid thing to say, but when's that stopped me before? Bobby Blackwolf says, this game was made by one guy with 9 friends. No, bitch, that's 10 people. Look, Jeff Keighley is a pretty face, not a mathematician. Let's allow him to stay in his lane, okay? He's an adorable little Canadian man that's done a lot in games.
Just host a show.
That's
just
right.
Let him host a show. Like
he's adorable little Canadian boy wearing dad's sport coat, hosting a giant game trailer exhibition on a big stage.
We don't think Ryan Seacrest do math. He shouldn't have to do math either. Jeff
Keighley is kind of the Ryan Seacrest of the games industry, though. Just marinated. That was a very Linda Richmond type of moment. I'm verklempt. Here's a topic. Jeff Keighley. The Seacrest of the... Maybe Jeff Keighley hosts Wheel of Fortune next. Let's see. Mish says, my favorite games this year have been Dinkum. I hardly knew him. I always feel the need to say that. Ghosts of Yotai and Tales of Shilia. I'm not sure what my favorite is. I haven't played them all yet. Give me a minute. Because we still have Metroid Prime 4 is still going to come out. So we're going to have to do a follow-up at some point, because as we all know, it's riding off into the sunset at the end of the month. But I will be curious if Metroid Prime 4 lives up to the hype. I hope as a Metroid Prime fan it does, but we'll see. So I feel like there's still some room for talk on what the best game of the year is. Although we should be getting Game Award nominees. That'll probably be the headline our last episode, because that's right about the week before Thanksgiving is when we get the nominees, right? That's right around the time the games have to come out, but I think we know the journalists get advanced copies of those games. So the eligibility window is like Black Friday, but I think the nominees come out that week, the week before Thanksgiving. So, let's see. And SJ100 Matt says, settling with those employees via lawsuit is cheaper than dealing with the union, and gasp, pay people well and fairly. Ouch. Truth detected. Anything else on that, Loki?
No,
right.
Nothing more on that.
Nothing more on that. I kind of want to go to the Game Awards, oddly. I don't think I'll be able to. There's a lot of things going on at work, and that's right in the middle of the week. I'd have to take like 2 days in the middle of the week to because I can't trust that I'd be able to fly down there, so I'd have to drive down there. I've
been hearing so many horror stories.
It would be nice to go once, though. I want to go to the Game Awards just to say I went. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe next year. Anyway, let's get into our gaming weeks. We'll talk about how was your gaming week? What are the types of things that you've been playing this week? Dark Sakura, we hinted at it earlier, but how was your gaming week?
It was games. I did play 2v8 for Dead by Daylight. Yesterday, just on my first match, I just was solo queuing it, just because. And met some really fun people who were like group streaming and playing together, and they invited me in, and we had a really good time, and I now have new friends.
Cute.
And it was probably some of the most fun I've had playing Survivor in a while. And And I did, of course, the other day when I ended, I did a pig match because I needed to, and I had a Dwight who turned narc on everybody. He was leading me to people. I'm like, okay, okay, Dwight, sure. It wasn't a Dwight. It was it a Dwight or was it a Nick Cage? Anyway.
Was it a toilet paper mummy Dwight? Because those are my favorite.
No. I think it was a Nick Cage, actually, now that I think about it.
All right.
But it was still pretty funny. And I'm on the path to P100 pig. So I'm playing a lot of Survivor because it's faster to get blood points as Survivor in the event right now because I can just dump them all on Pig. But I'm also working up for a subathon, but I will talk about that at another time. Also, I did not play any Avatar this week. I kind of didn't feel like it. I played Palia. I beat Portal 2. It's okay. I know I've mentioned the crap going on with my hand, but it is hard to do fine control when, a good quarter of your hand hurts, like from the bone, it feels like. I mean, it's really the tendon, but it feels like it's coming from the bones. So I've had a hard time playing, but I did manage to beat the game. And I love that game, but now I have to think of something different to play next week. What else? I have to thank Ryan, who Shay's a Scotsman, for gifting me Repo. I am going to be starting that before too long.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, so I just need to think of a different retro game for next Saturday now, and that means using my brain and thinking, and none of those things work.
I wish I had good suggestions for you.
I'm sure I'll have some retro stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just have to go hunting.
We'll go to Loki. How was your gaming week?
It's mostly been just trying to, a lot of stuff actually. I've been doing a lot of administrative stuff with the Minecraft server that I'm on. So moving stuff around, migrating our server to a different host, server candidate stuff, modeling trophy for my Halloween decorating contest I did. Just playing Minecraft stuff, and I did play a little bit more of the Once Upon a Katamari. I'm having trouble having that game hold my interest though, which is unfortunate because I really wanted it to be good. It's just they put too many blockers in the way to make it fun, I guess. But I don't know. We'll try it some more. I'll figure something out.
All right. For my gaming week, I've been continuing with Dragon Quest 1 HD a little bit. Did not play much more of the Mortal Kombat thing because the game that's been sucking all my time, surprise, surprise, Diablo 4. But there's a reason for it. I'm kind of doing the equivalent of like Dark Sakura P100ing characters in Dead by Daylight. I'm kind of going like as far as you can literally go in Diablo 4 with the current season. I am like 1 or 2 quests away from completely finishing all of the season's quests. That's far beyond the Battle Pass stuff. That I'm already done with. It's finishing like the most difficult challenges in the quest and unlocking like every reward. I have never done that in any of the 10 seasons. I've always finished the Battle Pass, but never gone all the way to do the ultimate challenges. This build that I'm doing right now, the Hydra Wizard, is so good that I am, because there's some new items that make the Hydra Wizard like super powerful. And I am like 2 quests away from literally unlocking everything you can possibly unlock, including the most ultimate stuff this season. The other reason I'm rushing a little bit is because they have the Mother's Embrace buff, which gives the 35% XP boost, and it runs through Tuesday morning, so the 11th. So I'm kind of trying to squeeze it all in because I'm going to be honest, and as much as I love Diablo 4 and I do like, a lot of the, therapy of mowing demons down with magic a lot, I think the fact that they do this limited XP and gold boost somewhat predictably is actually kind of ruining the game in a way. Because for me now, I only want to play when that buff is active. Why would I play otherwise? Why not? Why wouldn't I play unless I'm getting the maximum amount of XP? So Blizzard needs to, I think, rethink the way they're doing this Mother's Embrace boost, because either they just need to do it all the time, which I know might sound wild, but they've got another expansion coming. They're going to raise the Paragon level cap. They're going to be able to rethink, how the XP distribution is, or they need to just stop doing it altogether, except for like one day, Halloween, and like other things that you would expect, maybe the actual anniversary day, things like that. Like otherwise they need to stop doing it this way, because it's just, as much as I love this game, it just makes me go, I'm only going to play when that buff is up, because that's when I'm going to be able to maximize my time, period. So,
but if you enjoy actually playing the game, why can't you play at any time and when the boost is up? You're just playing for fun.
I do, and that's true. And especially from a multiplayer perspective, like if some of the other people I know, like Grandpa Warcraft actually plays Diablo 4, and if he wanted me to be like, hey, jump on and help me grind this boss loot, I'd do it, whether the buff's up or not. But I just kind of go, the accomplishment I want to get is all the shinies, and the best way for me to do the shinies is during the event. But it's not to say would I ever play the game the other times, but I kind of go, but those are my times to play everything else that's on my backlog, That's kind of why Diablo is more front of mind this week, and maybe some of the other games took a backseat. So, All right. But that's pretty much it for my game week, although I may have something to show here in a minute, because Alan was just at Costco, and I just I got the notification he just got home with the garage door. So I know he bought me something, because he sent me a picture, and I was like, ooh, I want that. So I'll show y'all in a minute here as soon as I see it. But in the meantime...
I did have one more thing.
Oh, yeah,
I was
please.
Going to mention.
Yeah.
So it was brought to my attention, thank you, Dark Tetsuya, that their Taki Udon, the guy that's behind the Superstation, it's like a FPGA emulation box that looks like a PlayStation 1. So they were looking for like homebrew games to put on it. So I submitted Pixel Hoops number 2, and it's going to be on it.
Nice.
Whenever he releases the hardware.
Holy shit! Good for you. That's great.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Wow, is the hardware like something on Amazon, or where will I get the hardware?
It is on Taki Udon's site, so it's retroremake.co.
Love that.
It's the Superstation
cool.
1.
All right, and Alan just brought me what he bought me at Costco, and it's another little mini arcade, although this one seems a little bit more durable. It is a Sonic the Hedgehog.
I saw that.
My Arcade, yeah.
I was just there yesterday.
This one's pretty durable, though. It's got, unlike the other My Arcades, it has a more, that's why this is $10 more probably, it has a more solid front to it to keep this weighted down, so you can actually play it a lot better. And that stick that's in there, let me get it better in frame. For those on the podcast feed, it's like a mini arcade machine, meaning the type that sits on your shelf, but this, or on yourself.
It's got a big stick on it.
It's got a big old stick that actually looks a little bit more like what you would see in an arcade, maybe of a baby style, and then some buttons on it. And it says it has Sonic 1 and 2 are built into that. Yeah, I bought Sonic the Hedgehog again. Woo, but this is pretty cool. I wonder how many batteries this thing takes. I would assume it's still just a few AA's. I can't imagine, just because the base is weighty and has that big control doesn't mean it's going to take more battery power. So that's kind of neat. So anyway, that's my little special thing I get to set up later. Fun. All right, let's get into some gaming news. Loki.
All right. Halo Infinite, it's just about done getting updates. So this next major update, Operation Infinite, will be the last update that it receives, which has been confirmed by Halo Studios in a brand new blog post. And then, of course, they have all their other projects that they're going to be working on. They've teased multiple games in the pipeline. And says, as we look ahead, your feedback will continue to help us refine our goals in hopes of exceeding expectations and delivering the best Halo experiences possible. And the game, of course, is not being shut down. It's just not being developed any further. So, make that kind of clear. But yeah, of course, we know the Halo campaign involved is coming as well. And then there's also going to be some other games as well. They're going to be shifting their dev teams too. So neat. That's still being, I completely forgot about Halo Infinite since, I know when it initially launched, it was rough. But it's cool, I guess, that's been supported this long. But Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be a 10-year game, Loki. Halo Infinite, meaning forever. Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, forever.
Well, I guess 4 years is the new 10 years. I mean, if you think about it, like in the
can we apply that to term limits?
It does kind of feel like.
Can we apply that to term limits?
Like that, yeah. Yeah. We've all aged 10 years in this last 4 years, so it only makes sense that the game is done. Yeah.
All right. Well, I would say sorry to the Halo fans, but we just had that news last week about the Halo, reboot or whatever on PS5.
Exactly. They're working on more Halo 4. Exactly. You can calm down.
And that is going to be definitely a palette reset to, see how this Halo thing kind of lands when everybody can play this no matter what they're playing on, except for Nintendo, I guess. But it'll be very interesting to see how that sort of maybe resets how many people are active in Halo multiplayer lobbies. Except now that I'm saying that out loud, I think a big sticking point of Halo, the new one, is that there is no multiplayer. It's really only the campaign.
I don't know. I'm thinking like the Don Matrick quote, where they're talking about like, if you can't afford the Xbox One, the Xbox 360 is for you. It's like if you can't play Halo, remastered or whatever it is, Splatoon 3 is for you.
Yes.
Oh Lord.
Splatoon 3. I had more fun with Splatoon 3 than recent Halo games, though.
That is a gross comparison. You got Metroid Prime 4 eventually come out.
I was gonna say it is, because Splatoon 3 is like really fun. So Halo Halo's out after a while.
It's no. Oh God, what was that? It's no.
I'd rather play Splatoon anyway.
Oh God, what was the crappy game? It was a Metroid spin-off, but it was like something Force. It was just awful. Like a PvP Metroid game, but didn't even call itself Metroid.
Oh, the Strike Force thing on the DS?
Yeah, something like that.
Strike Team Force or whatever it was? Yeah, I know. I remember what you're talking about.
It was that name.
Oh, Federation Force. Numerous Fetters hopping in with that. Yeah. All right.
Federation Force is free then.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Dark Soccer to get ready to pull that index card I had her set in her brain earlier in the show, because we're going to talk about, unfortunately, Square Enix is making some layoffs. Not a total surprise, because I believe we had a headline a few weeks ago that was talking about this possibility that was going to happen. So, of course, Square Enix, and you know them through Final Fantasy, but I think it's important for this story to really understand they make a lot more than just Final Fantasy. For example, didn't Square Enix make, speaking of Splatoon-y games, didn't Square Enix make that game? Oh God, Shane made me play it. Thank you. Foam Stars. That was a Square Enix game, right? So they make a lot of games that you don't usually associate with the JRPG brand, which is exactly what you're going to realize the rest of the story is. So they've decided that they're going to be laying off an undisclosed amount of employees, specifically North America and European publishing operations, as it looks to streamline all of that. They already said in a presentation to investors that this was going to happen. Quote, in the current fiscal year, a fundamental restructuring of the overseas publishing organization is being implemented with the aim of further strengthening global publishing capabilities and improving operational efficiency. They're looking to save about 19.6 million, that's 3 billion yen, from this restructuring. They're going to consolidate the HD Games publishing organization from 11 divisions down to 4. I had no idea they had 11 divisions. I'd be very curious what that means for the games themselves. But anyway, they are not disclosing how many employees that totals. When Bloomberg asked Square Enix to comment, they got the lovely and generic, we are reorganizing our operations in North America and Europe to strengthen our development structure and to drive a globally integrated marketing strategy. Layoffs are an extremely difficult decision to best position the group's long-term growth. So, there's a lot of mystique in what they're saying there with all that. But I mean, granted, it sounds like they're going to take publishing a little more worldwide, which, I mean, in some ways we do live in a worldwide market. And I would anticipate that probably some things you see that are a little more outside the Japanese focus games are probably going to get hit a little bit. DJ Rama S says, where's my Rad Racer 3, Square Enix? True.
Yeah.
True. where's our Chrono Trigger remake in the Octopath engine that has served them so well for like Live Alive and Dragon Quest, like all these fucking other games. So anyway,
soon.
YYR does point out, granted, Square used to make a lot of really great non-RPG games, such as Rad Racer, right? Remember when they were firing on all cylinders on PS1? Bushido Blade, Einhander, Tabal, Urguys, and others. Great point. That's probably when we came up with 11 publishing arms. Dark Tetsuya says there's a new one, blanking on the name. Mike Def says, where's Theatrhythm Final Bar for PC? That's a great fucking question. Because Theatrhythm, I hope we still get more Theatrhythm. I love that game. I need to go back and play more, to be quite honest. Now, here's something else going on kind of in tandem with this whole thing. And that is that Square Enix is going to be using generative AI to automate 70% of game Q&A, not that kind of Q&A, game quality assurance QA by 2027. This is interesting. Hold on, I actually want to hear this out a little bit because I think this could be interesting. So they're going to be using Gen AI to automate 70% of game QA. This was all part of the financial results. There is what's called the Joint Development of Game QA Automation Technology using generative AI. And what they'll be doing is they're going to automate 70% of QA and debugging tasks in game development by the end of 2027. And they hope to establish a competitive advantage in game development. And of course, you know, AI is a pretty controversial thing. We all know that. I'm and this may surprise you, I'm a little hesitant to dog on this right now. I do think I'm ready to dog on it when it needs to be, but I think we need to sort of see, because what's important to note, the layoff story did not talk about QA. That was publishing things like that. So it was not specifically talking about QA. I think this could be interesting. If the part of Q&A is running certain game loops and exploring certain game loops over and over again, that could be interesting to see how automation could accelerate that. That being said, Square Enix would be a much better company if it were to upskill these particular workers that are doing QA right now to be able to fix some of these bugs that are maybe, let's say, the low-hanging fruit. And I'm grossly simplifying this, I will admit. I'm making this sound like a turn the graphics up on level 3 type of scenario. But what I mean is that if they could actually provide more of these employees the toolkits to actually be helping to fix some of the bugs that AI identifies, this entire process will probably speed up significantly. But I think something important, as we all groan when we hear that AI is going to be doing the QA, most of this is outsourced anyway. This is not going to affect Square Enix's employment. It's going to affect the employment of the people there. I'm almost, and I don't know who they outsource to or how many they outsource to, but I just know in the industry, a lot of QA is outsourced. So it'll be interesting to see how this impacts. And again, I'm not a fan of people getting laid off. And the smarter thing to do, instead of let's bring in AI to so we can fire people and lower the numbers, I really truly believe you get what you pay for in that regard. And if instead they were to let's have AI try to identify some of these repetitive game loops and discover the low-hanging fruit so that our QA team can tackle how to fix the problem faster to narrow the gap between when we finish a game and when we put out a game, that's where maybe this ends up being helpful. But unfortunately, I just don't think boardrooms are going to see it that way. And I'm going to end up dogging on this just the same. So
I also don't think that executive types have a very firm grasp on what exactly AI is.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Especially
and for me,
tech.
like I said, I'm all for assistive, not generative.
SJ100 Matt says, correct. A lot of Q&A is outsourced. Why do I keep saying Q&A? A lot of QA is outsourced to different companies on contract jobs. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, we'll see what develops with this and what this ultimately means in the next couple of years. Because it will be interesting if games are released with AI, whatever quality, and they're still buggy. It's just going to be interesting to see what all develops from that. All right, let's move on and talk about. And 7 Day happened this week, right, Dark Sakura?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a
yes.
Mass Effect holiday, except there wasn't much to celebrate this year, but a little bit.
A little, yeah. Well, and I did my picture again this year. I finally did one. So, but anyway, we are getting a Mass Effect TV adaptation with a brand new story that will be on Amazon. It will be set after the original trilogy, so we probably won't have Shepard. Is this going to tell us which ending is canon? But there's also a little bit of an update about the next game. It is still in development. EA and BioWare are still going to be pushing this out. That was from a blog post by Mike Gamble. He is quoted saying, "The truth is, the last few years have been incredibly busy time at BioWare, but the team is heads down and focused exclusively on Mass Effect. We have a lot of universe to cover, a lot of features to build, and a lot of romances to figure out. As long as Garrus is in it." I'm kidding. But yeah, it looks like they're just trying to let us know it's still gonna happen. Gonna happen. And then the TV show.
With all the news around EA recently I appreciate the reinforcement, because I think there was a part of that maybe was in question a little bit. So I appreciate the reinforcement.
I wonder if they're just going to be CGing the non-humans, or if the whole thing will be like a CG deal, how are they going to do Turians?
Jim Henson puppetry. Make it happen. That's what I want.
I'm not sure that's going to happen. But...
It's not, but let me live my fantasy. Although, speaking of Jim Henson puppetry, there is something, look, if you are a gay man or live your life like one, let me tell you, there's something even more exciting in media that just got announced this week, way more so than the Mass Effect TV series. And that is that Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone are co-producing a Miss Piggy film that Cole Escola, the screenwriter and star of Oh Mary on Broadway, is writing.
Gasp.
I know. Exactly, right? Gay gasps heard around the world on that one. That is gay culture, is that headline I just read to you. It's nice to know in this incredibly shitty year where my marriage may once again be up for debate at the Supreme Court that I have something to look forward to in my life. So let me have this Miss Piggy movie, God damn it. Let me have something to look forward to. Anyway. Oh, I had a little asterisk as well. I had a small N7 update I wouldn't expect to be on Jamie's radar, but it was definitely on mine because it's a game I follow. If you are a No Man's Sky person, the special Normandy expedition is back. They launched it on N7 Day, and it's only running for maybe another week or so. I want to say it was maybe through the 18th. So if you don't have your Normandy in No Man's Sky and you own that game, I would encourage, especially those of you that picked it up on Switch. I don't know if you've had the chance to get it yet, and I think that might be Mish in that boat. There might be some other folks out
have to install it.
I would encourage you to do it. It's a fairly quick expedition, and by fairly quick, I mean it's still going to be a few hours.
I haven't played it at all.
It might. Well, if you struggle a little bit, I'll help you out. But I don't remember it being a super difficult expedition. But yeah, you're gonna have to kind of get the feel of the game. But yeah, you can get the Normandy in No Man's Sky for about another week and a half or so. Make sure you start the expedition. Usually you have to start the expedition, and then you might have another 3 or 4 days past the end date, but you want to get it started if nothing else. So just a courtesy announcement for those of you out there. So I believe it's still a Game Pass thing too. If your Game Pass hasn't already run out with everything, which I don't fault you for if you let that cancel and what else, but that's I believe a Game Pass thing still too. So you can get it in that ecosystem. I'm noticing Bobby in chat says I lost the rewards on PS5, so I might have to redo the expedition. So yeah, there you go. All right, let's move on. Loki.
All right, let's talk. It feels like a misconnection a little bit. So I think there was a comment by Keanu Reeves a while back, actually not that far back, but basically saying he would love to reprise his role as Johnny Silverhand in the next Cyberpunk game. And now we have, the developers of said Cyberpunk game saying, hit us up. So hopefully, hopefully they can make something work. But yeah, cool. Johnny Silverhand was an awesome character, so I'd love to see what Keanu Reeves could do for another game.
I mean, Keanu Reeves was that Cyberpunk reboot through the bad and the good, and especially that was the whole announcement where somebody in the crowd had shouted, "You're beautiful," and he goes, "No, you're beautiful." And that, right?
Yes,
that was that,
yes,
right?
That was
so
it.
I feel
yes, it was.
like Keanu Reeves really embodies that series at this point. I realize it didn't start with him, but it's his now. And so I do hope that, if they continue with what's going on in the Cyberpunk universe, which I think they will. I do feel like Cyberpunk's had enough of a victory lap of sorts between the Switch 2 release and
it's kind of redeemed itself.
As some video games get to do. I think Cyberpunk's kind of been able to run that victory lap. So I hope that if they explore the future, they do it with Keanu Reeves, because how many absolutely lovable men are there in Hollywood anymore that we all can agree, no matter where you are on the sexuality spectrum, we all can agree Keanu Reeves is just adorable. And
it's like, as I told someone the other day, I have eyes.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, Brendan Fraser's coming back, so I mean,
and I would put him in a similar boat, to be honest. There's only a few Hollywood, there's some people that you would think like Tom
Matthew
Cruise,
Lillard,
but
guy.
no, not Tom
Totally
Cruise.
Awesome guy.
Yes, Matthew Lillard. Yes, Matthew Lillard. A hard yes on Matthew Lillard. I'm a fan that he's not afraid to speak his mind. I love that he's coming back for the new Scream. Even though I do have some issues with the new Scream, but I love the fact that it was going to happen one way or the other. So I'm glad at least he's going to.
I still have the issue of him being associated with the FNAF stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But then again, like I said, I didn't pay for any of my stuff for Dead by Daylight. And I do have the skin of him because I support him.
All right. We'll see what continues with that. Oh, no, it was breathtaking. Sorry. Mike Def says that you're breathtaking. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and Neil Patrick Harris as well. Yes.
Captain Spike. Hi, Spike, from GameBuoy.org, video game podcast. So lovely to see you in chat. Reminds that Matthew Lillard also had a role in the Twin Peaks reboot, which it was a small role, but it was an important one. He was very good in that. So, and I support anything related to Twin Peaks.
I
almost
haven't watched
everything.
too much of Twin Peaks, but I know my other cast members on Channel 64 enjoy watching Twin Peaks because it's strange, and so there will be many nights that we are in voice chat together, and he's streaming Twin Peaks for us to watch. And it's strange, and it doesn't make any sense to me, but
I fucking love Twin Peaks. I would encourage everybody to at least watch the original pilot, and keep in mind, you have to keep in mind in the back of your mind when you watch the pilot, it aired on TV in 1989, 1990. I don't remember the exact day. I think it was maybe early April 1990.
I was in middle school, and I tried to watch it in middle school.
And when you watch it, you're going to be kind of taken with two things. You're going to be like, this is very slow moving and very intentional, but also extremely unsettling. It's extremely unsettling television. And you kind of go, this set the tone for so much more that's come after it. There is so much that is influenced by what Twin Peaks did. And then if you ever watch the episode that reveals Laura's killer, which I think we all know the answer to that now, but I will let you have that. If you don't know, all right, I will let you have that. But I will say the whole sequence where that is played out and that is revealed is one of the scariest, most unsettling, most fucked up things. I cannot believe that aired on television, to be quite honest, in the 90s nonetheless. It was event television. It really was. The second season of Twin Peaks after that point gets a little fucky. Some of the weirdness, she's trapped in a dressing drawers now. That's weird. There's some weird shit that happens, but there's also some things that happen after that are really interesting. And no matter what, it sets it up for the third season, which is incredible. And the movie is in retrospect, it's really hard to watch. The movie's really not in a bad way. It's just really Like the topics and what's at hand is very unsettling. But if you can get through it, the movie's powerful. And I think it's one of those things that time has done that movie a lot of favors, like a lot of movies that sort of got rejected by audiences on the first go. Anyway, that's my Twin Peaks rant. I'm glad I could get one more in before it's all over. Everybody should watch Twin Peaks. It's one of the best television shows of all time. All right, thank you. All right. DJ Rama S says, but Rob, Twin Peaks was on at 10 p.m. You could get away with a lot in that time slot. You right. Captain Spike says, it's intense, but so good. The movie, Fire Walk With Me. I did not get it as a kid. Well, number one, you probably shouldn't have watched it as a kid, but I get it. We all watch things we shouldn't have. But number two, yes, a lot like would have gone over my head at that age that I think now it's like, oh, this is very disturbing. So anyway, I want a proper Twin Peaks video game. Not that I think that would really, I think like Alan Wake is the closest I'm ever going to get. And, I realize it would also be really weird with David Lynch no longer with us, unfortunately. I feel like something not sort of endorsed directly by him would feel wrong. But, in a perfect world, we would have got... We will discover that he wrote a treatment for a video game before he passed, but I just don't expect that that's the case. All right, now I'm done. Let's talk about Steam. Let's talk about the place that you could buy all of these video games that are hypothetical in my mind. Steam is one of those places. And Steam's been doing some updates lately. They've done a few things recently, and now they're doing another. It's a new look and feel. Pages are now wider with support for higher resolution images. So those of y'all with 4K monitors, Steam's catching up here. New viewing modes for trailers and screenshots. And now there's some new formatting options. Pages have been widened to 1200 pixels. That means now they can show more content on screen without overwhelming the page. And there's a large pop-up view called the theater mode, as well as a full screen mode for trailers and things like that. Excuse me. No new look on the homepage yet. This is just games store pages and bundle detail pages. But, considering Steam launched in an era where people didn't have widescreen monitors on the whole, and now I think widescreens have been the standard for quite some time, and 4Ks are more and more. Maybe not everybody has them, but they're still more and more than they were. It's probably smart that the Steam store has evolved to match that a little bit. I think the theater mode is really good too for the trailers and screenshots to really get a sense of what does this look like. So, and plus we're going to have a Steam sale in Black Friday is 3 weeks away. So we should have a Thanksgiving or holiday, whatever they call it. No, holiday is going to be through all the end of the year events, New Year's
Black
and stuff.
Friday or Cyber Monday.
Yeah, there'll be a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. There always is. Trying to think of what I might pick up on a sale like that. I'm trying to think of what I missed throughout the year. I might have to get Claire Obscure because I'm letting Xbox Game Pass go. So I'm probably going to have to pick
Claire Obscure is good.
Yeah. No, I know. I just didn't finish it. So now I'm going to have to buy it to finish it. I'm going to have to buy No Man's Sky if I let Game Pass go because all of my unlocks are on Xbox. Although, no, it's cross-platform with Steam, isn't it? Maybe I don't have to let it go. That would be nice. All right. Dark Sakura, this is a neat piece of retro news.
Yeah, it's actually something that had kind of been on my radar. But there had been a Splatterhouse RPG game called Splatter World. It was canceled, but there is a ROM now. It was basically there had been other spinoffs like Splatterhouse, One-Paku Graffiti, but this was a Famicom title that was going to do an RPG called Splatter World. And it was supposed to launch in March of 1993, but was canceled. But there was promotional material that had been distributed. Japanese retailers had this information as of 1992, so it was pretty close to being finished. Well, we now have a working ROM. It was announced by West Mansion and uploaded to 4chan. It works in FCEUX, which it works there because of a Namco mapper that they needed. But when I checked it out, there was a fixed version, a ROM fix on it. So there are two versions out. This was as of the first. So I'm going to test it out and see if it works. But yeah, you can play Splatter World.
I just think it's cool they made an RPG in that universe. That's kind of awesome. I'm curious. I'm super curious.
I'd play the shit out
I
of
was
that.
like,
That'd be cool.
maybe that's a
maybe
retro.
that's what I should play.
So I'm very curious. I'll check it out if you do. All right. Let's move on. Loki.
All right. Well, let's talk about movies. We know the Legend of Zelda movie is right around the corner, and it is filming. So they have started filming in, I know, New Zealand. Crazy that a fantasy movie.
That's where all the pretty movies go.
That's where they all go. Yeah. So yeah, it's started filming, and yeah, I don't know.
Do we have any?
We'll actually see,
do we have any listeners in New Zealand? That's what I want to know. I don't think we have any live, but podcasts. Do we have anybody in New Zealand listens to this show? And can I come stay at your house? Because New Zealand looks really pretty. I want to, because we're always talking about movies. These movies film here because it's gorgeous. I'm like, imagine living there.
Well, we have. Was it you remember Melon Punk Night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're moving to New Zealand.
Are they really?
Yeah,
I knew they were leaving their house in the place that it is now, not doxing my friends on air, but I did not know it was because they're going to New Zealand.
They're going to New Zealand.
Is this like a get the fuck out of America thing? Living the dream, jealous.
Yes, I think
it's a very Punk Night thing to do. But hey, I'm speaking from a place of jealousy. Like, that sounds amazing. Good. Yeah. I have somebody to crash with. Yay. Make some room. Uncle Rob's coming. I want to go see the Hobbit house.
It's still of course, the Zelda movie is still a ways away. You know, it's like, I think April 2027. Maybe Grand Theft Auto 6 will be out by then.
Oh, is this a new game? Is it what comes out first, Grand Theft Auto 6 or the Zelda movie?
I think the Zelda movie. I think the Zelda movie, actually. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Are you interested in this movie that they're doing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think they're trying to figure out what game it's based off of, but we just have too little information. I actually kind of hope, like, similar to the Mass Effect TV series Jamie brought up earlier, I kind of hope it's actually not tied to a game. I think, how would y'all feel if it was like an original story? Because we have all of these
be based off of the cartoon, 100%.
Oh, excuse me, princess. I don't. Although, if they slip that line in there somewhere, even if it's just something like he utters under his breath,
put it in the trailer. You know what's gonna happen. You put it in the trailer.
40-year-olds will lose their fucking minds.
It's
gonna be a fucking chicken jockey moment if we get an excuse me, princess.
Annoying. Oh. You know what you need to do.
Come on, I think the line's going to be there, but Link isn't going to say it because Link's not going to say anything.
Like give it to another character, or like a shopkeeper or something type of character. That could be interesting.
They really need to quote as much as they can from the CDI version of the game. I know, just put them in there. I get it. It's obscure. It'd make me happy though. Put that in there. And excuse me, princess, you got it. And then. Yeah, was it? I'm so hungry I could eat what was it? An Octorok or something like that? I don't remember.
From the cartoon. I actually think the line in the trailer that would get the gasps from the audience would be the old, like, it should start and it should be like this, you know, going into this very dark cave, and it's very dark, and there's this old man who's lit very, very subtly by fire, and he just looks at the camera and says, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this." And then it goes into the whole thing. I think that's the line that would get people, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see.
I'm just excited.
I feel like this is going to be an art thing. It's not going to shitify itself with all these references.
Come on, we're not asking you to like just do this for the whole movie. Just like couple, like a small, like less than 1% of the movie has this kind of crap in it. It's fine. It's just silly. It's a silly nod. It's a wink at the camera.
A wink at the camera is all we ask. And excuse me, princess, you can get away with it. You can fit it into the script and still have your art house film that gets Oscar nominations, because I bet that's what they're ultimately going for.
If the whatever the D&D movie was, if they could have the animated team show up in it, then I mean,
God, the D&D movie is so good. I hope we get a sequel for that soon.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
So yeah, I'm excited, and I think the story could be an original story. I think the internet's focusing way too much on which game are they adapting without realizing that all the games, they all exist in the like different parallel parts of the universe and timelines. Really, it's all these different timelines, right? I think the movie should just exist in another timeline that can then maybe subtly tie itself to one of the games at the end or something. But I think the movie should just exist in its own timeline, because I think to adapt one of the games literally, it's never going to be good enough for the internet. It's never going to be good enough for the internet. And it's not like the Mario movie had to adapt one of the games and it was fine. So I would say the Zelda movie does its own fucking thing and it'll be fine. But one little wink. That's all we ask. One little wink. And then SJ100 Matt says the movie ends with the warp pipe showing up. Yes, and the invitation to the Smash Brothers film. Yes, of course. No, it's not going to happen. Y'all are you're putting the asks way up here. You're putting the asks way up
animated, here. That would just be weird, unless. Yeah, it's just weird.
Unless puppets. We've talked about this. All right.
I mean, the Zelda movie should have been animated, but it's fine.
In all reality, though, I really hope that Link is mostly silent.
I'll be curious.
A man of few words.
Yeah, because men shouldn't speak. Let's. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about Atari 50. That's right. This game that keeps on giving in a good way. It's because, obviously we had all these different digital Eclipse collections that have spawned off of what Atari 50 sort of laid down, including the recent Mortal Kombat collection, which I heard got a patch this week. So I'm curious to see if it helped with some of the issues, but I've been too busy in Hell and Diablo. But Atari 50 is going to be worth revisiting this week. That's for sure, because there's going to be a new DLC pack called the Namco Legendary Pack. It's going to be launching on November 13th for $8. And it includes quite a few games, but ultimately it's really just 5 games in all these different forms. Meaning the titles that will be added: Dig Dug for the 2600, the 5200, the arcade, the 7800, and the Atari 8-bit. Galaga for 7800, Galaxian for the 2600, the 5200, and the Atari 8-bit. Pac-Man for the 5200, the 2600, yes, the 2600 version of Pac-Man being released again, and the Atari 8-bit. And Xevious for the 7800 and the arcade. I think the documentary part of this, it's funny, we all shiver or shudder when we think about the 2600 version of Pac-Man, but, it was a really, like, what they got away with in that cart size, because what I believe I recall the story going, the guy who programmed it asked for an 8K cart size, but because that would have made the game more expensive, he got told, no, it has to fit into 4K. And so he had to make the Atari 2600 do fucking party tricks left and right, such as why the ghosts are blinky, because ghosts are drawn once every frame. And it's the type of effect that looks better on a CRT television versus an emulator in this day and age. It still was blinky, and the game was, it really, you look at Pac-Man on the Atari 2600.
You said was it also Inky and Clyde?
Well, what surprises me is that and it must. Well, no, they didn't have the personalities in the 2600 version. But anyway,
I was joking.
I know. But I wish they would put this side by side. I guess we have the 5200 version, which was in a more proper size cart. But I wish they would put Pac-Man for the 2600 side by side with Ms. Pac-Man for the 2600, because that did end up in an 8K cart, and you see that it is a lot more arcade. It's still not perfect, but it's a lot more arcade accurate than the original Pac-Man was. But even though we sit here and shudder, it was a programming miracle. It's one of those things we can say, yeah, it came out kind of, not what we expected, but it's kind of a miracle it happened at all. So I'm really curious to what extent the documentary portions will get into this a little bit. So it's really just those games, which is why it's $8, but that's still a really good chunk of, huge games that were on the Atari and related consoles, 2600 related consoles that we're going to get to see a little bit. So very curious about this. I'll check this out for sure. $8 is not a bad price for all that. So, all right. Let's see. Looking in chat, YYR says, this is really cool. Despite how awful the Atari 2600 Pac-Man was, I kind of want to see the interviews about that legendarily awful game. Exactly. Because it's a very similar deal with E.T. And hearing Howard Scott Warshaw, who made, and you all know this is the infamous thing. He always talks about he made the worst 2600 game of all time, E.T., and he made one of the best Atari 2600 games of all time, Yar's Revenge. There was other stuff in between there too, like the Indiana Jones game and stuff. So it's interesting to hear him talk about E.T. and how that game coming together as fast as it did was a miracle too, and probably involved a lot of cocaine, but I don't think he talks about that. Allegedly, but I don't think he talks about that part. So let's see. Any other questions here or comments in chat? S2100 Matt. Perfect. S2100 Matt says, if those glass coffee tables during those planning sessions could talk, and Pod Culture says, more snow than a ski resort. You get it. You get it. All right. Let's go on. Since we're talking about classic games, what a nice segue to our next segment.
Now it's time to travel back to a simpler time, where I'll dive into the vault and pull out a classic and tell you about it. It's time for the classic game of the week.
This will be a fun one tonight. Dark Sakura, what did you pick tonight for the game of the week?
I picked Rise of the Triad. Inspired a little bit by a friend of mine who was around Apogee in that time frame.
Oh.
So, this is the 1995 Rise of the Triad. It is a first-person shooter that was developed and published by Apogee Software, now 3D Realms. In 1995, you can play as one of 5 different characters, and each of them has their own attributes. You can have the fast one, the sneaky one, the enduring one, the strong one, blah, blah. And you follow these characters through their story as they have to investigate a cult, and then they learn about a plot to destroy the city. There is a remake by Interceptor Entertainment, and it was released by Apogee in 2013. And then there is a shareware version called Rise of the Triad, The Hunt Begins. We'll go into those in a bit. So a little history is that it started as a follow-up game to Wolfenstein 3D, but was altered and became a standalone. It has single player and multiplayer. You can connect with other gamers and tackle missions as a team. It is powered by a modified version of the Wolfenstein 3D engine. And it was supposed to be called Wolfenstein 3D 2, The Rise of the Triad. That idea was scrapped by id Software, and Apogee bought the license. Anyway, you have to collect these keys as you go through the level, and you have to do different tactics and solve problems. Your characters have different traits that are, depend on, you have hit point, speed, accuracy. In the shareware version, you only have one of the characters, and he's set for a very average. There are enemies that can beg for their life if they take enough damage or fake their death. There are enemies that dodge the attacks. Some try to ambush you. It's pretty intense. And all of the enemies are digitized actors, played by Apogee employees and relatives and friends. And then on those occasions, there are a large amount of gibs. Ludicrous gibs. That's what you get. Ludicrous gibs. As YYR just happened to say in that. Basically, they're giblets, like body parts. So anyway. As you go through, you have 13 different weapons. You have bullet weapons, missile weapons, and magic weapons. So you can go through with all of that. And you can only have one power-up active at one time. There is the multiplayer called COM-BAT, COMM-BAT. And you can have up to 11 players simultaneously, each with different uniform colors. But in team mode, you have a single uniform color for each team. 9 different multiplayer modes. Deathmatch. You have a tag mode, kind of like the kids' game. You have a hunter mode, so you have the hunter and the prey. There's capture the flag. There's a few different ones. So like I said, this started off as a follow-up to Wolfenstein 3D. It just like, okay, we're done. And so Apogee bought what was left there. And then the game, they were going to use that same engine code for Wolfenstein 3D, new levels, art, characters. But as they were getting further into development, their project leader, Scott Miller, was contacted by John Romero, who told Miller that the project had been canceled. So it didn't want to, take anything away from Doom. So that's why it went over and Apogee got it. And they just removed all the Nazi stuff. Good. So anyway, there's a lot more about that, but there also is some cut content. Some of the enemies had female versions. There was the game was going to load both sets of guards into the memory and then randomly determine what you get. But it really made the memory requirements much higher, so they removed the alternates. There are stills, though, that you can see and, of actors cut from the game. There were other levels, like the Rot Reject level pack. Those were the stages that were cut from the game, and you can get that level pack to play them, and different artwork that you can find on the CD. So at any rate, the game was distributed as shareware. So the first episode was for free. And then it had 10 original levels. It was called Rise of the Triad, The Hunt Begins. So, of course, there was those limitations. As I said, you could only play as one character, and there were only 4 of the multiplayer modes. There was the deluxe of the shareware, which was retailed by Lasersoft, and it had 3 extra levels and 3 extra multiplayer that you could only play on their version. And then there were different versions of the full game too, with 3 new episodes. So it was a floppy disk and a CD version that both had the 32 game levels and the 3 new episodes. The CD version had more multiplayer levels. The site license version had several multiplayer levels, and you could play up to 11 different computers on a network. I have played this in this mode a while back. It was a long time ago. In 2009, Rise of the Triad was released on GOG.com through DOSBox. And so it can be played on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. I don't know if it's playable on the current Mac OS. I would think that's the Intel based. So as I said, Apogee released a reject level pack that was a lot of the cut ones, things that were unsuitable for the release. This was released on July 25th, 1995. And you could also play as Dopefish, who, that's my friend. Anyway. So at any rate, and by the way, if you're listening, hi. Anyway, there was an official retail of the level pack that was released by Apogee for the ROTT called Extreme Rise of the Triad, also in 1995. Actually, the add-on was produced by a couple of people in the series. One of them is my friend Joe. Hi, Joe. And the other was Tom Hall. But the maps that were produced in this are harder than the original ones. There were some definitely tricks that were involved in making it. These levels were released as freeware September 1st, 2000. And then the rest of the remaining stuff was put out as freeware as ROTT Goodies Pack on February 15th, 2005. So there are other level packs. There was the Lasersoft Deluxe Shareware maps. There was actually Apogee re-released those themselves after Lasersoft went out of business. There's another level called Wolf 3D that was meant to see if the geography from Wolfenstein 3D could be replicated in Rise of the Triad since it used the same engine. There's the Ohio RTC pack that was a 4-level multiplayer pack that was designed for a group in Ohio holding a game tourney called Bloodfest 96. And the last one was called You and Spray. And this was a gag 1998 to play with the level editor. And it was released in November 2000. So the source code for Rise of the Triad was released under the GNU GPL 2.0 or later on December 20th, 2002. And then it had been ported by fans to Amiga OS, Linux, Mac OS, Xbox, Dreamcast, PSP, and Nintendo DS Homebrew, and 32-bit Windows. The game was included in the Fedora software repository, so it was a free port. There was the remaster. 3D Realms did Realms Deep 2020 live stream and showed the game playing on a Switch, and that would also play on Windows, Switch, PS4, Xbox for 2021 release. At Realms Deep 2022, it was re-announced as Rise of the Triad, the Ludicrous Edition. And the demo came out actually on June 19th, 2023, and was released on July 31st, 2023, and September 29th, 2023 for consoles. And that was for the 10th anniversary of the 2013 remake. The game is... A lot of people really consider this to be one of the games of its era. Not everyone was super into, like, the iOS version was really not well received at all. It got like mediocre reviews. But as far as like the full version, DOS Spirit, Honest Gamers, PC Team, a lot of them were giving it, Next Generation gave it a 3 out of 5. But a lot of folks just were into it. And then there, as I mentioned, there was a 2013 remake. And that one was revealed at QuakeCon 2012, designed by Frederick Schreiber by Interceptor Entertainment, and came out July 31st, 2013 through Steam and GOG. And that's it.
All right. One that I think I played briefly. I think I played the shareware version of this briefly, but never really played the full thing. But, just kind of watching this YouTube, I go, oh, this is definitely a throwback to that era of first-person shooters. Rise of the Triad, game of the week. Fun pick.
Yep.
All right.
Now I have to tell Joe I gave him a shout out.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Well, we have just a few quick headlines here before we get into some release dates and the listener roundtable. So let's get to some fast headlines. Rapid fire news to Loki.
Oh man, it's time just continues to repeat itself. But here we go, year 2025. We're in the holiday season, and Soulja Boy is out there just grinding by taking an existing product, claiming that it's his, and putting his name on it.
Honest question: is Soulja Boy still relevant? Like, I'm not trying to sound shady. I'm just asking an honest question. Is Soulja Boy still relevant? Okay, because I
don't know.
It's never mind. The comparison I was going to make was extremely unfair, so I'm just going to let it move on.
So yes, he is attempting to take an existing device, a device that I actually own, by the way. He's taking a device to the Retroid Pocket Flip 2, this one right here, basically trying to claim it's his and charge double the amount that it costs. So the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 is about a $210 product. He was trying to sell it for $435. And then on top of that, just like Vent got called out, the Retroid team, the actual company developed it's like, we did not authorize this. I didn't know about this. This is not any kind of official licensing deal. He does not have permission to rebrand our product and sell them as his own. The Retroid Pocket Flip 2 is patented in the US by ourselves. Like, you cannot do that. And so now he's marked them down. They're now $200 on his site.
All right.
I don't
No,
know.
that's not going to be good enough. They need to nail him.
It's just ridiculous. Like, you just can't. Like, what is his brain just broken? Like, what is wrong with these people? I don't know.
It's actually probably not that. I find that typically, just in my limited experience with celebrities, but I've met a few over time, and more importantly, I've met the people they surround themselves with that really gas these people up one way, and then to the people around them another, or the people that work with them and stuff another way. Like, it's always this intermediary. I would actually expect he knows very little about what's going on. I'm sticking to it.
Because when he was showing off the console, he's like, "Look, see, it's got TikTok on it." It's like, yeah, because it's an Android device. Of course, it has TikTok on it. I don't know. It's just, who's making their purchasing decisions based off Soulja Boy? I mean,
that's a good question.
If you are making your purchasing decisions off of Soulja Boy, you got to really look in and reflect on yourself and see where you've gone wrong, because you are in dire need of help. Perhaps reach out to family and friends. You have lost your way.
Soulja Boy, you got issues.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can we get him to go on Shark Tank? Because I want to see him pitch this on Shark Tank. Just for the lulz.
Next story.
Anyways, next thing, it's a little bit more interesting, is Overcooked. The crazy cooking game is now being adapted by A24 into perhaps a TV or movie, TV series. That could be fun. I don't know how that would necessarily translate into like a cooking show, but
well, it's just going to be another knockoff of Hell's Kitchen. It's just going to be people, except instead of a chef screaming at people like Hell's Kitchen, it'll be them screaming at each other.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen and Wipeout together, as one giant thing.
Overcooked is one of those games that ends friendships like Mario Party. Like,
I refuse to play it.
Which is a perfectly acceptable stance to take, quite honestly. I've played it, but it's, people get very intense in that game. I think it really depends on who you play it with. If everybody's high and doesn't care, it's fine. If everybody's drunk and aggressive, not good. Not good.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens with this. But yeah, they're looking at doing something with TV and movies with it. I mean, sure, I guess.
Well,
I mean,
Deft in chat says A24's behind it, though. My stamp of approval. That is a fair point. A24 does a lot of cool stuff. DJ Rama S says, I think Gordon Ramsay was connected to Overcooked for a bit. Here's the thing. I think what it is that Overcooked was inspired by like Gordon Ramsay cooking shows and stuff. So it's you have this weird copy of a copy thing going on. Now, that is bad. I mean, how many of us sit there all day and veg out to Food Network? Like, cooking shows are popular. There's nothing wrong with that, yep. But it's just, they all end up kind of stealing from each other a little bit at the end of the day. I still can't believe Hell's Kitchen is a show they're making. Like, how many seasons of that show has there been? Like, it probably like something like 30.
I don't know.
Of course,
as many as Gordon Ramsay wants to make money off of.
Yeah, right.
I like the idea of Hell's Kitchen. But I don't see. Here's the thing: is I like the idea of competition shows like that. I don't like them playing up the drama. I just want a strict, like, hey, here's the teams. Cool if we get to know them a little bit, that's fine. But, like, I don't want all the, like, all the drama. I just want, like, just an actual competition show. Like, treat it like the Japanese version.
I was going to say, I love the drama when it's Iron Chef drama. When it's like the theatrics, I think is a better way to put it. I love the theatrics.
Yes. I love theatrics.
Yes.
I love that. But just, can we have the theatrics and not the, like...
Which is why I miss American Gladiators. I miss American Gladiators for the same thing. The theatrics of that show was ridiculous. And I keep hearing they try to redo that show.
It's the pageantry. Okay?
Yes, the pageantry.
What if we just have a show called Food Fight?
That's probably already a thing.
I was going to say, somebody's probably already made that show. I hate to say it. But yeah, it's funny. Several folks in chat talking about the kid version of what is that? Master Chef
Kids.
Master Chef Kids.
Chef.
Yeah, completely different Gordon Ramsay, because Gordon Ramsay is a very good actor, and when he's doing Hell's
He's a
Kitchen,
dad on top of it.
he plays a part. When he's doing Master Chef, he's probably a little bit more of his authentic self. Or it's side A and side B. He's playing a different part. But I would like to think that the Master Chef Jr. is a little bit more of his authentic self than the character he plays on Hell's Kitchen. I mean, it could be vice versa, but I doubt it.
Twice as critical, twice as explicit.
You want to see one where the kids are put through hell, don't you?
They're all crying. He's like, I'm not leaving this set until you're all in tears and they're regretting the choices that you made in your short
the wrong
lives.
Gordon Ramsay showed up today. All right. Dark Sakura, what do you have for us?
Well, I had hinted at this earlier, but BioWare is insisting that there is still a new Mass Effect in development, that they are trying to make sure it fits into the Mass Effect canon, and it still would be itself a new game. And they are very clear in saying that it's not, quote, a retread of Commander Shepard's story. Of course, there's all that crap going on with EA. And then there's a little bit more going on because they announced that partnership with Stability AI for AI powered tools for development. As long as they're tools and not generative, that's what I say. But I mean, wait and see. I'll buy it. It's Mass Effect, and I'm a Mass Effect whore. And how? Yeah. So cool.
Actually, Garrus is currently calibrating and how. I don't know how to
He's calibrating.
All right. Let's talk about this. Jason references the intro tonight, and he's talking a little bit about what's going on in World of Warcraft. And yes, World of Warcraft is making a new expansion, which does sound pretty cool, the new Midnight expansion. And of course, housing is finally coming to WoW, which a lot of people are excited about. But we just found out about Hearthsteel. What's that? A new currency. What kind of currency? Premium currency.
For fuck's sake.
And Blizzard is saying that this new currency is supposed to be allowing you to do multiple items at once and offering, this is my favorite part, offering financial protections for folks involved. You may want a full set of chairs to place around a dining table, multiple place settings for your invited guests, many candles. Using an in-game currency can help make the process of obtaining many of these types of inexpensive items more efficient. And you can buy Hearthsteel with your Battle.net balance or, of course, in-game gold via WoW tokens, because there's that whole thing where, you know, there already is the gold that you can turn into real money, which has existed in Warcraft for some time. Anyway, so it'll be this was found from data miners. Blizzard did confirm it, and people on Reddit are losing their minds. So we'll see. The thing is, and what has people concerned, and I get it, is that this is all being discovered like weeks after we heard the story about Microsoft is pressuring all of their gaming companies, which Blizzard is one of now, to make sure you've got 30% profit margins. They're called accountability margins at Microsoft now. What a lovely name. Anyway, something to think about. I should point out, though, World of Warcraft is still a premium MMO, meaning it is one of like 3, I think, left on the market that actually charge a monthly fee. You actually still pay $15 a month to play WoW, and we're not looking at a free-to-play WoW. Well, I guess if I don't mention the like level 20 version, I'll get the emails correcting me. But for all intents and purposes, WoW is not a free-to-play game. It has just a very extended demo that they're calling free-to-play. So.
Yep.
All right. Fifth Dream in chat says,
I don't really have much of a desire to go back and play it again, although I do kind of sometimes miss playing.
I know. I'm kind of like, I probably will. I'm going to be honest. I probably will check out the new expansion just because I enjoyed my time with this most recent one. I didn't stay subbed, but I subbed for 2 or 3 months to finish the expansion, and it was fine. I like the delves. I'm curious to see how they expand in that in the next expansion. The housing thing, I don't get as into it as other people do. I have a house in Final Fantasy 14. It looks, it doesn't really have a theme to it. So it is what it is.
I don't even have any desire to go back to that either. I'm just like, I don't know.
Bobby Blackwolf.
I'm playing Palia.
Bobby Blackwolf in chat is dropping the meme about Final Fantasy 14 with the free trial level 60, which is also just a really extended demo for that game. But I will say, in that game's case, like the fact you get to, it's Stormblood. By Bobby, you got to update your meme. It's not just Heavensward, it's Stormblood now and up to level 70. But I would say that journey, especially through Heavensward, like Heavensward was probably my, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's up there. I feel like Shadowbringers and Endwalker together as one story is like my favorite. But Heavensward is really, really good. It's worth your time. But that's my opinion. Moving on, let's check out some release dates. Maybe you don't want to play an MMO. Maybe you want to play something else releasing on consoles or PC this week. Let's check out release dates. Loki, what's coming out in the US?
If only we had things releasing this week.
Oh, mid-November?
Fourth quarter. Mid-November, yeah. Who knew? But hey, guess what? Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition's coming out, in case you haven't played it. So we have that on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Surviving Mars relaunched on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Telnet Shooting Collection on PC. Bittersweet Birthday on PC, Mac, and Linux. Goodnight Universe on PC, Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Luminous Arise on PC and PlayStation 5. Possessors on PC and PlayStation 5. Rue Valley on PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Sacred 2 Fallen Angel Remaster on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Million Depth on PC and Mac. Winter Burrow on PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. Anno 117 Pax Romana on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Outlier Ryza Secret Trilogy Deluxe Pack on PC, Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. Beyblade X Evo Battle on PC and Nintendo Switch. We've also got Giga Sword on PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. Hitman Absolution on Nintendo Switch. Inazuma 11 Victory Road on PC, Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. We've got Mistonia's Hope, The Lost Delight on Nintendo Switch. And PUBG Battlegrounds on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. Looks like we have Ren Sport coming out of Early Access on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 on Switch 2. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. And let's see. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero on the Switch and Switch 2. Monster Hunter Stories and Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin on Xbox One. Videoverse on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. Where Winds Meet on PC and PlayStation 5. And finally, Escape from Tarkov coming out of Early Access on PC. Just a few things.
All right, let's travel to Japan and check out the releases there. Yakuza Kiwami is also out there. I think that would be the first time Yakuza games on... Well, maybe not the first time on the Switch, because maybe the original Switch had some of the older games. But anyway, this is the first game. This is Brawler Yakuza. If you want to get into that series, is now on the Switch 2, or will be this week, starting with the original from 2005 in a new form 20 years later. You can also check out Yakuza Kiwami 2, so it's 1 and 2 if you want to catch up on years worth of games. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, also out in Japan this week on the Switch 2. Momotaro Densetsu 2 is also out in Japan this week, and that's a game cart. I think this is interesting, is that we know that one is a game cart. The Yakuza is a game key cart, just, for those of you that are keeping score at home, and if that is informing your purchases. Those are really the big releases on the Switch 2 this week, but when you go to the PlayStation 5, you get a little bit longer list, similar to what Loki just read there. Rensport, Anno 117, Pax Romana is out in Japan as well. Atelier Ryza 1, 2, and 3, because the trilogy is getting a whole little re-release there. There's a premium box if you want to get all 3 games available there. Those are all out on the 13th. Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Yep, it's coming to Japan as well on the 14th. And we also have... Ooh, that's it. That's it for this week. I thought there was a lot more. But no, that's really it for Japan. Let's go to the UK.
So UK time?
Yes.
All right, on the 10th, we have Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. We have Into the Grid for PC, Go-Kart Island for PC, Below the Crown for PC, School of Magic Deck and Slash, the same, Shard Squad as well. On the 11th, for PS5 and PC, we have Luminessa Rise, Bittersweet Birthday. Oh my God, it's Bittersweet Symphony. A PC, also Windswept for PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. NASCAR 25 for PC, Schematic Void for PC, Unpetrified Echoes of Nature. We have Rue Valley for Switch, PC, PS5, Xboxes. We have Goodnight Universe for PS5, Xboxes, Switch 2, PC. We have P1 Anchor Light for Xboxes. On the 12th, we have Million Depth for PC. We have the remake of the End of the Greatest RPG of All Time for PC. That's a name. We have Winter Burrow for PC, Switch, and Xbox. That's back to the 11th. It's switching around on my days. On the 12th, Tomb Water PC. On the 13th, Little Corners PC. Tracked Shoot to Survive for MetaQuest. Assetto Corsa Rally Early Access for PC. I know a lot of people into that. Inazuma 11 Victory Road for everything. Yakuza Kiwami for Switch 2. Yakuza Kiwami 2 for Switch 2. Anno 117 Pax Romana for PS5, Xboxes, PC. On the 14th, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 for those same ones. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Switch 2 and Switch. Project Chameleon for PC. Dice of Calma for PC, Android, iOS. Dark Atlas Infernum for PC, PS5, Where Winds Meet the Same. And for PC, Escape from Tarkov. Busy.
All right. Busy. All right, that takes us to the listener roundtable. It's your part of the show for you to send us comments, questions. If you want to pop anything in chat over at twitch.tv/VOG Network, you're more than welcome to. I know we have a couple emails tonight. We'll get to those in a moment, and we'll get to some phone calls. I see at least one call in the green room. I will just kind of, remind folks, I think y'all already know, but we only have a couple episodes left after tonight. And the way things are shaping up, next week will be a pretty normal episode, but that will be, we will end the normalcy on the nice number of 1069, which I think is a great number to go out on. But we will have one more OLR, the final, on November 23rd. The format of that show is going to look a little different. We'll still talk about games, of course, but it's going to be a lot more self-referential. So we look back on 23 years plus of the show. If you have ideas, things you'd like to see us do, I really invite you to join our Discord server over at vognetwork.com/Discord with anything you'd like to see us do for that final show within reason. Get Reggie Fils-Aimé. It's got to be things that are like in reason. So, but we look forward to that. Dark Sakura, I don't know. You're probably not ready to talk about the successor yet, but maybe in a couple weeks you'll have some more information on that.
We're working on a teaser. We've got. I think we've settled on the name. We're getting everything together.
Oh, even I don't know what that is. Okay.
I personally need I need some buffer time because this is. I'm not gonna go too far into it, but it's very triggering for my. There's a condition called alexithymia where you feel so many things that you don't know what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna take the rest of the year off before I even think about like video creation or whatever I might want to do. That's a different sort of time commitment in the future. But right now, I think I'm just like from this year, I'm just like so exhausted. I'm just like, I'm going to take the rest of the year off. That's where I'm at. So I don't blame you if you wait a few weeks or whatever you're going to do. So, but I'm excited to hear more about it. All right.
Well, we're hanging out on Thursday.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
Hey, everyone, be jealous. We're going to see Clue.
We are. We're gonna go see Clue on the big screen on Thursday. Randomly, the Crest Theater here started showing they were doing like Labyrinth last week. They showed cool old
I know.
movies.
I was at ballet class, so I couldn't go to that one. But they did Adam's Family Values, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But but um, but yeah, and there's a little talk about the alexithymia. For me, it's a comorbid with autism, so it's just a normal thing for me. Anyway, flames on the side of my face.
Let me get to some of these calls real quick because we actually have a couple people in the
Okay.
green room. I want to get to them, so we will bring some folks on.
I guess.
All right. Hello, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this? Hello.
You called on me first?
Yeah, is that okay?
Oh, I mean, it's fine, but I think there was someone else in the green room.
Oh,
before me.
I just looked and I saw both you, and I pulled. We'll you both get your turn. So what's up?
Well, actually, I called in because. First of all, hi, it's Aaron. Wow,
Hi.
Hi,
But,
Flynn.
hello, hello, LR. I was actually thinking of emailing just to say hello, LR. That's it. Just wanted to hear you say it again. That's all. But actually, the reason I'm calling in is because I listened to last week's episode earlier, and AJ called in asking about DDR tournaments, and I figured I would go ahead and let you know that DDR tournaments are still a thing that is happening quite regularly, in fact, and I myself, against my better judgment, have decided to jump in and enter one. This coming February in Pennsylvania, and looking forward to it. And I wanted to go ahead and let you know what a modern DDR tournament looks like.
Yes, please. Sorry, my cameras are all messed up and I don't know why, but we're going to adjust that on the fly while you tell us about tournaments. Because yes, I can't believe I didn't think to talk about that. Tournaments are still a thing. Because I judged one a few years ago. It wasn't that long ago. I judged one. It was called like Freestyle Takeover or something like that. And I know they were setting it up to keep it going, but I don't know. So I was trying to look up the current status of that here on the West Coast. But yes, they're still going. So tell us about what's going on in your part of the country.
Yeah, so actually, this is a pretty common format that that a lot of the larger tournaments are using. Unfortunately, you don't see much in the way of freestyle tournaments anymore, but what you do see is this sort of format that this is. It's obviously accuracy based, of course, but they've solved a lot of the issues of the past, like a whole bunch of people entering, you play a match, and then you have to wait like 6 hours or until the next day for your next match, and possibly getting destroyed in one match and you're done. But yeah, a lot of these issues have been fixed by the current format, which is referred to as waterfall gauntlet. At least this, I've also seen waterfall round robin, but this waterfall format is pretty popular. And basically what that is, like if you were to play classic Mortal Kombat, you know how when you start the game it shows, okay, here's the battle plan, and it shows you the ladder that you have to climb up. Well, basically think of that ladder as a series of player pools. And based on your performance in the qualifier, which actually happens months, in the months leading up to the tournament, and you basically play the qualifier whenever you want, you can submit as many tries as you want, and it's basically your best score on a number of songs that you submit screenshots of. And then depending on your rank in the qualifier, you're seeded into a pool somewhere on some rung of this ladder. And then the way it works is the bottom pool is, and all the pools are like 4 to 6 players. So the bottom pool runs first. And generally, either you have a round robin format where everyone plays against everyone else and you see who gets the most wins. Or you have a gauntlet format, which is what I'm doing, where everyone plays the same set of 5 songs in my case, and highest EX score is what you're competing for. And then the top 2 players.
I keep
in the
forgetting
pool,
EX score is like a standard now in the community. I keep forgetting that kind of switched a few years ago. Yeah, or well, it's more than a few.
Yeah,
but yeah.
It makes a much bigger difference now because the skill level of the players is so much higher.
Yeah.
You want there to be a bigger difference in score between Marvelous and Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what you get with EX score, with Marvelous being worth 3 and Perfect worth 2, as opposed to the regular scoring system where Marv and Perfect are basically the same, and then Great is far lower. So, but anyway, yes. So generally what you have is you compete with the players in your pool, and the top 2 move on to the next pool, and everyone else is out. And then, basically you can fight your way up so long as you keep dominating your pool, and then you're eliminated. But what's nice about this format is you play your matches, and then if you do well, you continue playing, and then you're not waiting around until the next day or 5 hours or whatever for your next matches. If if you keep going, you play imminently. When you're out, you're out. So it definitely solves that problem. And, it basically means that the higher skilled players play later. And so if you're watching, it's exciting too, because as they progress, you get to watch the higher and higher skilled players. So, and if you're seated, maybe not where you should have been in the qualifier, you have the opportunity to move up the ladder, which, I mean, it's exciting to watch and to do, of course. So, yeah, it's something I'm very much looking forward to. I haven't competed in a DDR tournament in probably somewhere between 10 and 15 years. And I have to say, over the last few months, I've been working a lot of extra hours. We had a major project at work. Haven't been playing much, and I've been starting to try to get back into it lately. And it's not as easy when you're about to turn 46. So, but I'm working on it.
You go show them kids.
Something like that. I'm going to show them something. It might be
show me your moves,
but it'll be something indeed. But I am planning to do the birthday challenge again. So if you're really bored, I'm not doing it next weekend because I'm going to be traveling, but probably the weekend after that. If you want to see me play max 346 times, I'll be there. It probably is going to be earlier in the day. Perhaps the same day as the final episode of this show. So yeah, have fun if you want to watch that.
Well, YYR, thank you, of course, for calling it. I gotta let you go so we get to, as you know, somebody else is waiting. We have a couple emails as well, but anything else you want to let off before you go?
I'm sorry that I couldn't get the new version of Bungie Ferret Tossing ready in time for this.
Don't apologize for that. Focus on that. Well, and plus,
it is what it is.
Also, remember, we're not dying. I will still be, if you decide to re-release Bungie Ferret Tossing at some point, I'll still love to play it and hype it where I can. So,
yes,
there'll be another avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. So, yes, I will be in touch. This will probably be my last call in. So, thank you again for the show, and be well. Have fun.
You're welcome. Thank you once again. I know we got into this last time, but thanks so much for all your support over the years. It really does mean the world.
And thank you for the same.
Mm-hmm. All right. Take care, YYR. Until next time.
See you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's get Rama in here. Hi.
Hi.
Hey. What's up?
Okay. I had 2 things I wanted to say, but now I have 3 things. I have to thank YYR for that.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
No, when he's talking about the DDR tournaments, I can more or less vouch for that because, as I've mentioned before, I have also a friend named Matt. I've come to the realization almost every person I know named Matt has a DDR machine in their house, and I went over to his house, he's having his party, and him and his girl were talking about DDR and tournaments, and I'm asking them what they're doing. And they're like, they have to submit their scores online to compete. And I'm just like scratching my head. That's a thing now? I didn't go into details about it, but when I'm hearing YYR talk about that, I'm like, yeah, it's like the light switch went on, you know?
Yeah. And you said you had a friend that was at a tournament today.
At this weekend, yeah, and he was just at another one like a couple of weekends ago too. So, wow. And if it makes you feel any better, he's within our age range, and let's just say, he can play.
Okay, all right.
Now, you mentioned Food Network earlier,
and don't I?
I'm on the bus coming home, and I just had to internally laugh because I'm at that age where we go to the conventions, we get into the room, after we've done our day thing or whatever, normally we would just like hook up the Fire Stick, have some YouTube playing, chill drinks on the side. No, we come into the room, turn on Food Network, and we just sit there and watch Diners, Drives, and Dives for the next 3 hours, okay?
Good times.
Yes, good times.
Oh my gosh. You know, I didn't mention this earlier in the show, but I went to a convention of sorts today. It was a little different. It's something called the Oddities and Curiosities Expo is here in town. And so
I've heard of that.
Okay. So what it is, it's kind of like the vendor hall at an anime convention, but instead of it being anime waifu merchandise, it's like Baphomet, Elvira, and Kitten Summoning Demons. Like it's like all those sorts of taxidermy. So it was all sorts of like odd little things. But of course I ran into like multiple people I knew there just because of, the circles I run in here locally. But it was fun. I didn't end up buying anything though. I was kind of sad. I didn't see anything that was like, I got to have it. There was an artist, and I wish I'd gotten their business card because it was a really good Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror portrait with like snapping the pink glove. And it looked like the way it was like the big eyes, like it looked like a Frankenstein from the 30s kind of poster that I really kind of liked. So I wish I'd gotten that artist info, but oh well.
You know what you do? See if they have a Facebook page or a group. Join it and ask. Somebody will know. I've seen that a few times where, I missed this booth or this booth had this. Do you know who it was? Somebody has an answer.
You know what? Now that you say that, I know that account has a Instagram with stories, and they post what people, and you'll see all these booths that are tagged. So I should see if the individual's booth was tagged. That's actually a really good idea. All right. Anyway, what did you actually want to talk to us about tonight, Rama?
I wanted to talk about the whole AI thing at Square Enix for a second. And for this, I also want to thank you because of something you said about Blue Sky that came in handy last week.
Okay.
Now,
I'm curious.
I understand AI. I'm in IT. I see both sides of it. Some of it I'm for, some of it not so much. And I understand how AI can make your job better, can make your job worse. It can make you lose your job. I get all of it. Somebody on Blue Sky was talking about AI and how it's taking away all these jobs left and right for everything that's being done. Now, before I jump in and say something, I have to read and see what's going on. And I've had to explain to people there are various types of AI out there. Then again, it's not even real AI. I mean, what we call AI, I say it's a fancier version of Cortana or Siri, if you ask me personally.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're absolutely correct. We don't have anything that's yet passed the Turing test.
Thank you. Now, this topic of AI came up on this person's feed, and we're starting to have a conversation about it. And I told her, generative AI is the problem. That's the problem. Narrow AI or assistive AI is the good thing. And I'm explaining to her how there are video games and software and application that has AI in it to help. And sometimes it's actually part of the code. So instead of her complimenting me back, she quote what I said and got on her soapbox about things. I said, nope, remove quote, mute. Nope, I am not having that.
Best part of Blue Sky.
Yes.
I realize Blue Sky is missing a lot, but that is one thing that the old place did not have that is so handy, is that when somebody tries to quote you to dunk on you, fuck that. Bzz, you just zap yourself from it.
If you have to quote dunk me, you're weak, your family is weak, your lineage is weak.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your family. Yes.
Now, now with AI and Square Enix and QA, in a way, I get it, because when you think about it, if the QAers are looking for like 100 things, and maybe 20 or 30 of those things are the same thing in different games, I can see AI going in and automating that, and then doing a quick check to see if that has been done. That part I do understand. I understand, like, it's going to be 70%. I'm just saying, I get and I understand Square Enix's reasoning behind it. It'll make the games will come out quicker and so forth. But on the downside, some people will lose their jobs. And in some cases, whoever is left, their jobs will be a little bit easier, less mind-numbing. Who knows? They might even get a bump in pay, It's
really up to the business culture to define, is AI going to be a tool or is it going to be a replacement? And I would hope that in a few years' time, you're going to see those companies where AI is a tool are going to outperform those where AI is a replacement.
I mean, because when I hear about it and I'm reading about it, I'm like, I see it's more of a tool. But the problem is, when you mention AI, 100% of the people that are against it, guns blazing, shoot everybody. Maybe
it's more nuanced than that. It is way more nuanced. It's because the label AI is being used too much. That's the problem.
Exactly.
So it's causing people to have that Pavlovian response to it when it's really, it's the generative AI that is the part that, and how it's generating. I would even go so far as to say is not all generative AI is bad, depending on how it's being trained. That's the key part. Yeah.
Yes. And then it's like those who kind of know the difference will be up in arms. And then when someone in the tech, graphic, scientific field tries to simplify it, they look at you like, oh, you're pro AI. But no, trying to educate you.
Yeah. Photoshop hasn't done a damn thing different in the last 20 years, except now they're calling it AI, with an exception. Actually, Adobe does have a generative picture thing. From Adobe's standpoint, I happen to know that they are saying it's trained on their own stuff. Adobe does not train on stuff outside. I don't work for them or anything. I just, I'm in the loop of some of their updates.
Well, don't they train on like people that don't opt out of stuff? Like
that's where things might get. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
if you put it in Creative Cloud, but if you sign out of it, they won't touch your stuff.
I'm not here to defend them. What I'm here to say is that for the most part, outside of those tools that actually do the generate me a picture of a bird kissing another bird, whatever you're into, then all the other tools are the same fucking things they've been doing for years. Except now they just call it AI.
And I'll say this one part, then I get out here so you can do emails and all of that. It's gotten to the point where I forget the organization, but there's like 16 different Japanese companies and organizations that are basically pushing back against it and passing legislation saying it's copyright infringement right off the bat.
There's been a lot of interesting development there.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you probably would not have heard about this happening if generative AI didn't start doing graphics that looked like something that came out of a Ghibli movie.
Which that filter was all.
But anyone, of course, with a trained eye would be able to tell that it's fake.
Well, and all the most mediocre people on Facebook were running that filter on their pictures for a hot minute.
Jamie, let me say this: the fact that you said that just had me thinking of something, and I'm going to get out of here. Like when I see a lot of this AI stuff, and I'm looking at it, and I look at the face, and I have to start laughing because it doesn't matter how the face looks. If you look well, the face looks like Gadget from Rescue Rangers. And if you don't believe me, look for any anime AI image and find a picture of Gadget. You will see resemblance. You can get 20 different anime images that was AI rendered. Put a picture of Gadget right next to it. And if you look at her face, you will see the similarities across the board.
Amazing.
I have run across some, though, that look very realistic, but I get your point. I'm also going to say, though, that like for anyone who is a trained artist, you're also going to find anatomical inconsistencies, shading, lighting. You will find where a finger doesn't connect to the rest of the body.
Also,
there will always
the
be an
lines are
error.
clean. The lines in the artwork may be clean, but wait, hold up. Those lines are a little bit too clean.
It's not even necessary that I can do artwork, run it back through Pixelmator or what have you, and have my lines be super clean. It's the issue that there'll be proportion issues. There'll be a hand that doesn't quite go the right way, a leg that's turned in an unnatural way. There's always going to be something that tells that this is not real.
All right. Well, Rama, this is a debate that's going to continue for a long time. But anyway, Rama, thank you so much for your call. We always appreciate hearing from you. And if the listeners want to hear more of you, which I hope they do, they'll tune into you and your pals on Anime Jam Session. So, which you still have a few shows before your holiday break. Yeah, your holiday break's not for a few weeks. So, all right.
Yeah.
Runchon?
Yep.
We did announce that it's you, me, and Brad, too, with our endeavor.
I totally... when tonight?
I think we did a week or so ago, but I think that...
I actually don't think that was announced, but maybe you want to say something about
Oops.
that?
Oh, Ook-chan.
Breaking news.
I thought I said something. I'm sorry.
Well, let's meow.
I guess.
Meow. Meow. There's a cat running around. Somebody's let it out of a bag.
Look over there.
I guess that means I have to go edit that project one more time.
I'm sorry.
It's funny.
We still love you. Come on now.
Well,
but I'm very happy.
And we will leave it as that teaser until later. All right.
Yep.
All right. Take care, Rama. Always good to hear from you.
Y'all take care too. Love
and
y'all.
Apparently we're going to hear a lot more from you. Take care. Take care, buddy. All right. Love it. Let's get to emails.
I feel kind of bad now, but I thought I had said something already. I'm sorry.
Why? You should. So you said it now. Who cares? It's funny.
Okay.
All right. All right. Emails.
All right. First email. This comes from Dark Tetsuya. The Sound of Goodbye. And I am angry at you right now, sir, because that song's been stuck in my head ever since I saw your email.
But what a good song to have stuck in your head.
It is a good song, but still, it did replace the final countdown, so there's that. So anyway, hey, what's up, OLR? Well, I can't believe this is it. 23 years of Sunday nights, all coming to an end. Of course, for me, I had known you all since sometime in 2001. A chance encounter at a local Bimani party when I discovered y'all were like-minded nerds as far as Konami's note-smashing stuff is concerned. But fast forward to that fateful summer in 2002, after launching the live 365 stream of Bimani, Dance Mania, and other sort of rhythm game music, there was the debut of the Sunday night show. I know it's probably taboo to talk about numbers, but back then, as I recall, we had all of 12 live listeners, and of course, I was one of the lucky ones. Also, I agree, Shane was right about the early episodes bringing that Bimani party all-night energy to the podcast. What a hell of a time. Covering the Solo 2000 controversy with the supposedly risque background animations and that crowd overreacting the way they tend to do, plus the first break that we ever took to Vanessa May's Destiny. It was a night I would never forget. There was for a time also the website component, which I don't know if folks knew you used to take submissions, but it seemed like I had the record for the most submissions. So imagine my surprise when I got the message, hey, you want to help us backstage with stories and stuff? You've submitted so many. We thought we'd just let you do that on your own. And I was invited backstage to help pitch in, which would continue to go through the rest of the run. Speaking of which, then we eventually moved onto the podcast, first with the extra to go episodes, and then about a year of that merged the two shows for the rest of its run. I know it turned off a lot of folks who still love the all Bimani and music game coverage, but clearly the landscape was changing and y'all needed to adapt. So I totally get it. Of course, that first week, Konami announced DDR Supernova, so we weren't quite done with the music game stuff yet. We're never done.
We're never done. There's just room for a little more.
Of course, there are the other side projects I helped with to accompany the show, such as the Wikia, which we did come too close to comfort for losing. Eternal gratitude for Bobby Blackwolf with his help in getting it restored, and to keep a record of all our shows both past and present. Also, the OL Archive, the official archive for our oldest shows. Did y'all know 100? Well, I say 100. Y'all know one of our former fans, Jaded, hooked me up with the most original 1.0 run of Guys on a Show. So if anyone wanted to hear that, it's there for your listening pleasure. In closing, I know a lot of us grew, changed, graduated, got married, had families, and so on. I know I met my wife, a friend of one of the OGs, TSS Tech Angel. I can say words. So it is no small thing to say the show changed my life forever. Thank you for the most amazing thing I've been a part of. But it has been a part of my life for over 2 decades. I always said to myself, what would I even do on Sundays anymore after they're over? It definitely won't be the same. Thank you all for changing my Sunday night forever.
Well, thank you for that, Dark Tetsuya. I know this show has meant a lot to you, almost as much as it has to us over the years. And, everything you said in there about getting invited backstage, true. Because there was it was funny. There was a point, I know you were invited backstage before that, but we had to shut down the forums at VOG Network just because of spammers and kind of, the forum software is just generally old technology, right? A lot of it is open to vulnerabilities. I'm oversimplifying it. So Discords kind of became internet forums at some point. One could argue there's still Reddit and things like that, but for the most part, a lot of forum type chatter went over to something like a Discord at some point. So, you've been helping us there with submitting stories. And if people don't know, Dark Tetsuya does seed a lot of stories for us to consider when we're putting together everything we want to look at through the week. And I've absolutely, including tonight's show, absolutely have relied on his contributions to help power the show. So Dark Tetsuya, I just, I have to think about how many acknowledgments I want to do on the last show because I'm really afraid of leaving somebody out. But Dr. Sia, absolutely, you've been there since episode 1, and you are so appreciated from all of us here at OLR for everything that you've done, from your really undying support for the show to what you contribute on air that ends up on air, to just being as enthusiastic as you've been about the show. We appreciate you. So thank you so much. And thank you for getting the change from the Bomani thing. I think for the most part, I would say like 95% of people did get that change. And I just wish other people would have realized we were always still talking about other games. You go back in those shows and we're talking about like Dreamcast games playing at Jamie's and things like that. And it's like, we were always talking about all games. It's just, we kind of made that switch a little more official. But anyway, quite the retrospective there. Or should I say retrospective song, if we're going to keep the Bomani song title names. Anyway. All right.
We have one more email.
Let's do it.
Hi, OLR. It's your girl Mishi here. I just wanted to express my gratitude toward you all and the members of the show, because without you guys, I never would have met my best friend and partner, Dark Tetsuya. Thank you for the memories and the wonderful show. I'll miss this on Sunday nights, and I wish the OL Army the best in whatever you guys have planned for the future. Thanks for the memories. Have a great night, y'all. Sincerely, Mishi, aka Mishikins.
Thank you so much for that, Mish. It's really been a pleasure to get to know you better. It's not like I'm going away once this is done. I'll still be around as your friend, but it's been a pleasure to get to know you, and not getting too sappy or gross, but really watching how much you and Dark Tetsuya just really love each other. Like, it's easy for me to sit here and say gross, barf, but like, it's really adorable. And if I am going to say something sassy, Mish, you and Dark Tetsuya make straight people tolerable. I'll say that. No, in all seriousness, I do mean authentically. You two are adorable. And if this show had any small part in that, which is wild for me to think that this show set up relationships, but even when I think about my own marriage, this show was a way for Alan to get to know me when we lived 100 miles apart. So I recognize this show has enhanced or sparked some relationships out there. And so, it's wild to think about, but that's
all three of us did get married during the course of the show. I mean, Dan and I just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary. Mm-hmm. So, and then you and Alan and Matt and Nellie, and you've had small ones and who are not so small anymore. And we have all had our collection of felines. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Shermie and Maruko and Mr. Smush. And Sanrio.
Yep.
And what was your cat's name? Was it?
Oh, Stella.
Stella.
She's, yeah. Hearts to all of our pets. But but yeah, I've always wanted to. I may play like a little bit aggro, like as the bitchy co-host type person, but it's all I have nothing but cinnamon roll level feelings for everybody, and yeah.
All right. Well,
cinnamon roll. I want a cinnamon roll now.
Anyway,
Dan, cinnamon rolls.
I think that's it for emails tonight, right? So
that is it. And of course, I'm gonna play Palia because I have to play something light before bed.
Participate at orangeloungeradio.com if you want to send us an email, which remember there's only a couple weeks left to do that, so we hope you will take advantage of that. We will have I always want to just say by default, I don't know why my brain, I almost caught myself saying the Skype line, but we all know it's Discord. Oh my God. Discord will be open all night on the final night, and we have some other things we're going to do and play around and have a good time. Yeah, it's, I know it's hard. And again, I'm torn because on one hand I am apologetic. Like, I'm sorry that, I'm sort of the starter to say, hey, I want to tap the brakes on this. But on the other hand, I also know that, like, for myself and just my batteries and I don't want to say my mental health, but in part it is that I have to make this decision that's very difficult to just allow myself to take some time to stop, because I've been working nonstop every day for so long. But that doesn't mean that I love you all any less, all of you. It just means I am recognizing that I just have to put myself first, which is hard to do sometimes. And it sometimes takes,
especially when that decision affects other people.
It does, but, and that makes it harder, but
yeah.
Anyway,
but I'm trying to look at, because the show for me is actually something to preserve my mental health. Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking forward to taking that energy into a sort of new game plus.
Yeah, and I think that's super healthy to sort of recognize that. And since you did kind of leak some stuff earlier, I'm really happy to hear who is also involved in that, because, like, in particular, I think, well, number one, you have quite the Super Smash Brothers of VOG personalities over the years coming together, which I think is incredible. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited for Brad to have an outlet like that again as well. I think is also, like, when you told me you were going to be collaborating with Brad, I was like, that makes so much fucking sense. With Rama, I was like, that's awesome. He has the time. Great. You'll be great. But with Brad, I was like, oh, that was a good call.
And we're all doing our own levels of lifting. I mean, I've also got my, I'm not giving up streaming because I super enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Even if I scream at everybody in my DBD matches, I've got great people in my life who help me with that too, like Shay and Shadow, who have been in my chats a lot, and Brad and Mike and everybody. A lot of OLR people, supported me, and I really appreciate you being there with me for that venture and sticking with me, even though I'm dating pigeons in games sometimes. Vogtron, Matt,
love it.
But yeah. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go make a bean quesadilla so that I can not, like, sniff.
Quesadilla. Actually,
did I ever tell you the story about the case of beer? I'm gonna say this is the last story. Okay. There was a restaurant in Mobile, Alabama called El Chico. It was our favorite. We'd all have family meetups and everything there, and we were there with my uncle's wife and her parents at the time, and my grandma was running late, and so, like, hey, should I order for Juliet? And, like, yeah, she wants a quesadilla. Well, I didn't know Juliet drank. She thought grandma said a case of beer. So there you go.
A case of beer. Actually, okay.
So sometimes I'll see, I like a quesadilla.
Have you ever? Okay, but my new obsession in the late night Mexican food department, not just a quesadilla,
Girl.
but a quesabarilla. Have you had one of those?
What is this?
Oh my god, it's like I don't know what they do to it. If they're like,
They soak it in consomme.
that's like they soak it and they fry it, and so it gives it like just extra fat on the.
Gasp!
It's so good. It's so good.
Gasp! All right, I require Thursday.
I don't know where the fuck to get quesabarillas in this town, but you know what? We'll find something.
Everywhere.
We'll
I mean, a lot of like.
I was gonna say a lot of any hole in the wall Mexican place is gonna have it, but it was L.A. where I had it for the first time and I fell in love. So, yeah.
Okay,
Victoria
I have
and
to see if my stomach can handle it, but let's make this happen.
Victoria and I had DoorDash Mexican food at like 1 a.m. It was incredible.
Oh my god!
All right.
We got bedtimes to happen and Pallias to play and shows to edit and give me your money.
All right.
I mean, la.
Then before I get your final thought, Dark Sarkar, and let you go, let me ask Loki real quick if there's any last minute stories.
Nope.
Great. Then we'll get to Dark Sakura, your final thought. Actually, I guess I should say, I usually end this show with saying, something like, if you enjoyed what you heard, tell a friend, help us spread the word. That is all still true. Especially I would say tell somebody who used to listen to us to come back, please. You got 2 nights left to do it.
Are we that podcast that someone used to know?
I mean, that's kind of how it goes for a lot of people. Every week I did what I promised I would do, even though it broke every fiber of my being. And I logged into X and I made a post. And there was somebody who replied the equivalent of OMG. So it got, we're trying to let people know.
And Pod Culture says spay and neuter your pets, also your neighbors.
Your neighbors' pets or your neighbors? Because I would say.
Your neighbors.
All right.
And pet a possum. But
no, I will just say, thank you for all of your support over the years. As you all know by now, our last show is in 2 weeks. And it's bittersweet, but we are so thankful to all of you that have kept this powered for 23 and a half years. Because if you think about all the shows in the history of the internet, all of the shows in the history of the internet, there are very few on any topic that have gone this long. Very few on any topic that has gone this long. And in the world of video games, there is one that has gone this long, and another one in Spain that took an entire year off, but that's neither here nor there. But there's one that's gone this long consistently, and that's this one. So unfortunately, it had to end someday, but you guys have made this a hell of a ride, a world record run, literally, here on this show. So thank you for your support. All right, Dark Sakura, your final thought.
Give me $1.
Okay, what's your Venmo? No, I'm just kidding.
No, and possums are awesome. They eat ticks and other terrible things, and they are almost immune to rabies. So go pet a possum.
All right, have a good stream.
Actually, don't. They'll just hiss at you.
Have a good stream.
All right, bye.
Bye. Loki, we're over to you. What's your final thought for us tonight?
Hopefully I'll have my modded series ready to go soon, because I've been working on that for a while now. Keep tweaking things. I think we're almost to a point where I can do it.
My final thought is I went to a drag brunch today. So a friend of a friend was in from out of town, and my friend wanted me to meet him. So we all went to drag brunch together. And that was a lot of fun. Very high energy. The drag performers did very well. I certainly have nothing negative to say in that department. I will say sometimes you bachelorette party girls need to behave yourselves at those events, but it was fine. The show was good. And again, I think that just all goes to say, support your local artists. I say this a lot when I'm hosting shows live, and I probably need to say it more here. So if I can literally have final words as I am, sunsetting this whole thing, support your local artists, drag performers, burlesque performers, local artists showing in art galleries, choirs and vocal groups, pole dance troupes, you name it. There's all sorts of art out there. There is something for you, and there's somebody locally producing it. So please support your local artists. And with that, we're going to roll credits. We'll see you next week for episode number 1069
Nice.
of Orange Lounge Radio. Good night.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for our live show, tune in to VogNetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio nor Vog Network, but you know they were all still true. See you next week.